Hello there. Today I want to talk about a very underutilized language feature that has been in there since C#4. I want to talk about tuples. We're going to be talking a lot about passing values to and from functions today. So for starters, I've created a very simple function that just returns an integer, and I've written a little test code for it that calls the function and prints the result. So let's run that and just see what it does. The value is 10. Perfect. So an interesting problem comes up. What happens when you want to return more than one value from a function? For example, maybe you have a Boolean that tells you that the function succeeded, and then you have the actual payload. So that is often written like this. So we've declared I as an integer that's an out parameter. We set it in the function, and we can also return the function value. So let's go ahead and use this. And it would look something like this. We declare our integer, and then we would say if tuples dot get another value, out y. Oops, missed a parentheses. So we're getting the Boolean because that's the return value of the function, and we're also getting our integer out through the out parameter. So let's run this and make sure that it works. Value is 10 and value is 11. I think it was in C#7 they let you clean this up a bit. This is kind of irritating to have to declare the variable before you use it here. And we are now allowed to do that where we declare it inline. Beautiful, that works. But what if you have a lot of values that you need to return, not just a Boolean, maybe there's several. So the classic answer solution for that is to use a struct to create a class that packages the values. So we could say public struct some data. And we'll give it a Boolean for success, and a number, and how about a name? And then we can write a function that returns one of those. So public static some data, get several values. And then this function will need to return the sum data struct. So return new success equals true. Number equals, what are we at, 12, and name equals Fred. So we're now returning a struct out of this function. So we can go ahead and test this. What was the class called? Some data. So some data equals tuples get several values. Now we can do something like this. If data.success, and we can write our message out. It'll say the value is data.number, and the name is data.name. And let's try that out. Perfect. So that works. It's very efficient. Structs are a good way to go when you use the same thing over and over and over. However, it's a lot of code. If all you really wanted was just to kind of ad hoc, on the fly, package up some values and send them back. And that's where tuples come in. That's where tuples really shine. Under the hood, tuples are in fact mutable structs, so they're highly efficient. And here's how you use it. Here's the magic. So we'll say public static, and we declare our tuple as this. We'll say it's a bool, It's an integer and a string. And then to return it, we'll simply return the tuple just like that. To use it, it's exactly the same. We'll say bool int string more data equals tuples dot get more values. And then if, and this is where it gets a little interesting, we'll say more data dot, notice that we got these new interesting properties, item 1, item 2, item 3. Those are positional references into the tuple. So we want item 1, which is the Boolean. So if that was true, then let's grab this, and this will be more data dot item 2 and more data dot item 3. So now we should get 13 and Sally out of this one. Let's run it and make sure it works. There we go. So the only thing that people will complain about is that this is a little obtuse, a little opaque, that we've got these positional accessors, but there's a solution for that. You can actually alias these things. So we can say, well, I want to call this success, and I want to call this number, and I want to call this name. And now, instead of calling that item 1, we can just use the names that we've given it, our little tuple field aliases. And it should still work. Perfect. So I think you'll agree this is a much more simple and efficient and elegant way to return a set of values out of a function. And I highly recommend you get in the habit of using tuples when you don't really need to put in the overhead of building a struct for packaging up a lot of data that you're going to reuse. Okay, have fun with tuples.